All right, you are live. Hey there, what do you say there, world? Welcome to another episode of the Races Recap. Today we're doing Season 1, Episode 10, and I am Justin. Fortunately, I am graced with the beauty of Season 25 winner and ice cream scientist, Dr. Maya.
Hello.
And somebody who you probably haven't seen in maybe 15, 20 years, but she is a badass. Look at her go. What is going on, Pat from Pat and Brenda? Season 1 Legends in the making. What's up?
One. How you doing? I'm having a good time tonight.
I am great. You live like 10 miles away from me, not even. We got to link up after all this is over. We could share some stories off there. I got some really good ones.
I'd like to hear them.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from some interviewing so many of the past racers. I've got some really good stories, and I'm sure Season 1 you got some incredible stories. And we will get to those in just a second. Everybody's here. I want to thank you for showing up this season. I am sorry for us being so late. I am a stickler, and I hate being late, and I apologize for wasting your time, and I will make it up to you by making sure that you have a great time tonight. And if you were fortunate enough to follow along Dr. Maya's ice cream today, then you're probably already really happy, because what did you make today? Birthday cake?
That was last week, which is really good. But this week I made no churn key lime pie. It is epically amazing. It's so good.
Oh my goodness, it sounds delicious.
Key lime pie. Loving it. All right. If you don't know, you better check out Dr. Maya's Ice Cream Sundays on Instagram. Links are in the description down below. Everybody who's here, I appreciate you. You know what I want? I want more people to come and hang out. They need to see how cool this is. So if you like, thumbs up, subscribe, share it, tell somebody, tweet it, take a photo of the screen and be like, damn, look at these people. Come join us. I don't know. But anyway, all right, let's get to the good stuff. I don't really promote too much like that and ask people to do stuff. So I guess I should once in a while ask and see what's going on. Joey should be joining us. I haven't heard from him. Don't know why he's not here, but when he gets here, we'll make fun of him like usual. Is there anything you want to get to before we get started? You good? Anybody got an announcement?
I'll leave that to Pat. I mean, she's the guest, and
Pat?
we've not. Yeah.
Anything you want to say before we kick this off?
I'm excited to see how this all comes together.
All right. When was the last time somebody interviewed you about the race?
Almost 20 years ago.
Holy cow!
Whoa!
Nice. We're gonna get some exclusive stuff. What's
20
going
years
on?
ago. Back then, we did a little round robin. We did a couple shows in the satellite where they bounced us all across the United States. But I haven't done an interview since then.
Wow, that's so cool. Well, the way that I kick off all of this, we're going to do like the interview at the end with all of the questions and things like that that people have. So I want to wait for everybody to get here because, I mean, they see us every week, but they don't see these cool guests every week. So we'll give them a little time. But anytime you want to jump in and pop in and say something about any of the teams or just anything, feel free to do so. You're one of the co-hosts right now, so don't feel like you have to just wait there till we talk to you. Just jump in.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. It's Season 1, Episode 10, and we are chilling. Rob and Brennan are leaving at 10 a.m. And now there is two separate races going on in this leg. Rob and Brennan leave at 10:12. Frank and Margarita leave at 11:06 a.m. Right? And then the second group is Kevin and Drew leaving at 3 p.m. And then Joe and Bill leaving after team's already finished at 6:30. So this is already setting up to be a boring leg because there's really no good. I guess there is a little competition for first and a little competition for last, but
did it really matter? And not really. It was kind of a boring leg, but it was a beautiful leg. The scenery was gorgeous. Yeah, but
travel porn.
The leg but the leg itself, nah. Yeah.
And why are Joe and Bill so far behind the other team? 8 hours behind first place because they wanted to save money in the last leg and take a bus. Don't do that.
Spend the money. You may not be here tomorrow to use it, so spend it now.
You can't borrow time from somebody else. You can't borrow, ask somebody to help you out and give me free time. Like, time is something that you can't get. Money you can get. Money you can do things to get. around paying for things, but time. How do you feel about that, Brent? Pat, sorry. How do you feel about that?
That's okay. That happened a lot in the race too. They had us mixed up.
That's why they make everybody
had our
stand.
name tags mixed up. They had my picture with Brenda's name and Brenda's picture with my name in the beginning. But I find that very interesting about them taking the bus. But you have to remember, this is season 1. We didn't know where money was coming from. Everybody was in the dark. They told us that our cameramen were our children with money, but they weren't really handing that money out very easily or anything. They didn't even tell us how we were buying anything or doing anything. And when you went to the pit stop, they gave you some money. It hardly covered anything. So they would give it. Well, I don't know how it was later on, but in the first season, they would give you various amounts of money. Like one time they would give you $15. The next time they would give you $200. You arrived at an airport where you needed to fly halfway across the world, and you weren't even sure how you were paying for your ticket. We had no idea where the money was coming from. So I'd book a ticket, but I wasn't sure how I was paying for it.
Wow!
But you never.
Yeah.
Sorry, Justin.
No, go ahead.
You never had to pay for the ticket for a flight without a production credit card, though, right? Or did you guys have to pay for flights with other sources of money?
We had no money whatsoever, and we had no production credit card. All of a sudden, once we got our flight booked, then all of a sudden our cameraman had a production credit card, but we didn't know how we were paying them for anything. They wouldn't tell us. So Brenda and I are looking at each other. We're booking flights like we got money. We don't even know what it costs. We don't know who's paying for it. We don't know where it's coming from, but we're going.
That's funny.
That's great, though. I love that they didn't sit you down at the big production meeting, tell you what's going on.
Right? Yeah.
There was none of that. We were all flying by the seat of our pants.
Joey's trying to get in. Oh, let me in, dude. You're not knocking. You're not on.
I hear you knocking, but you can't come in.
Joey.
Yeah, Joey. Where you going? The wrong room?
Joey.
I sent it to your Facebook. I sent it to your text. Is there anything I can do to help you out? Your meeting attendees are waiting. It says there. I guess he's waiting in there. Of course. Now you want to click on the old link. The 1 week that I have to put a new link.
I clicked on the old link too today.
This is the first week.
Because you told us it's always the same link.
It is. Because I started the room. Then we had
it didn't work. It didn't work this time.
You're right. Because I had to close the room because we were having audio issues. So I closed the room. That was my fault. And then I reopened the room and it gave it a different number.
That's so funny.
So click on the link, the new link,
Joey.
The
new link. Go to Facebook, Joey, and click on the new link. Or your text,
Joey, Joseph.
The text is easier.
Whatever's easier. I don't know who's doing it from your phone. I don't know. You can click a link from your, I don't know. Whatever. Let's do it. So it's we wait for Joey. Yeah, I'll get here when he gets here. Because then I'm gonna have to fix the screen.
I feel better. I thought I was the one that was going to have technical difficulties.
Listen,
Joey, girl.
Yeah, Joey is Joe's a rare breed. So it's at 10:12. Rob and Brendan received their clue, and they're told that they got to check in with the king. Ooh. Getting excited to get to meet a king, because we got to meet a king during our season that never showed it, but we were awesome. We got to meet a king of a village, of Makuni Village. It was pretty awesome.
Wow.
I wonder if people were like, damn, we get to meet a king. Like that just mindset of, and then to get there, teams must take a taxi and then take a boat. What teams do not know is the king is actually a place where people climb rocks. You don't get to actually meet some cool king.
but the view of with the rock climb is gorgeous. Like that would have been pretty sweet to do, I think.
100%. 100%. There's Joseph.
Joey.
Joseph.
Seriously, what the fuck?
We can't even see you.
Hold on.
Turn the camera on, man.
Try it.
Oh, there he is. Hold on. He's gonna
look at my Justin hat, eh?
Hey, look at
I don't see you.
All right, I'm going to cut you off here, Joey, because now that you joined in, I got to switch the whole room. This is why I need you to get here a little earlier so I don't have to do this during the show.
I was painting. I completely lost track of time. Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. Something you do every week. I mean, who would have thought? Hey,
I paint every week.
This show, huh? Yeah.
Maya, your hair looks awesome.
You're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, not
Thank you.
Justin's. Hi, Patricia. How are you?
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We'll get him here.
I'm trying to close the curtain here. The sun's setting and it's putting a glare on my screen.
Throw on some shades.
Some shades. There you go. I mean, you got the badass hairdo already. You might as well throw on the shades. I just want to know, do you have a motorcycle? It looks like you seem to have a motorcycle.
Yes, I do. I have a 2006 Street Glide.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've always driven a motorcycle.
Phil
and I were supposed to go for a ride sometime, but he never showed up.
Oh my God, that would have been so cool going on vibe with Phil. All right, we're good now. Everybody's on screen. We can see everybody. We're good to go. And you are, it's so funny because when I saw the haircut, I'm like, that haircut looks like it's made for a motorcycle.
Yeah.
My wife was like, you're crazy. I'm like, I'm gonna ask her. And then boom, she has a motorcycle.
Perfect.
All right, let's get into it. Joseph, everything good?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. We're just getting started here. The Kings, they're finding out that the Kings are the Kings climbers. And this is where Rob kicks it off with the next leg for us is going to be about management. I want to know how you guys feel about this management leg. We want to go as fast as we can, but we want to avoid any major mishaps. I don't care if we bleed a little time. I just want to stay in the lead pack. So you're going to have this extra time. You be careful. You make decisions. Who cares? What do you guys think about when you're up in the front right now being really, really careful, or do you just keep going for the third?
You keep doing what you were doing because they've been so good the whole time. And when you said, I don't know if any of you guys ever did this, but did you ever borrow someone's car? And like you're so worried about getting into a car accident that you get into a car accident. Yeah. It's kind of the same thing. If you're so worried, you start double checking shit, you might miss something that you wouldn't have otherwise done. So I would just, if it works already, do it. And there is no pack. There's only a handful of teams. There's not 10, 11 teams anymore.
Yeah. This is like one slip up and you're done. Like this is not the time to like go light. This is the time to go stronger than you've ever gone.
Right.
That's my mindset. What about you, Pat? If you were here at this point in the leg, what are you doing? Balls to the wall or taking it easy? You're in the lead.
I'm always balls to the wall.
Hell yeah. I like your style.
I'm not taking it easy anytime.
I like your style. That's awesome. All right. So Rob and Brennan find out they have like this auto rickshaw, which is like a moped with a sidecar.
It's so cool.
And it comes
That
like
was so cool.
off. It's not even like latched on because as soon as they start rolling,
it breaks down.
It's just so rolling. It breaks down. And they're like, what's going on? He pulls over and the thing overheated. A moped overheated. I don't even know how to do that. And then they wind up stopping again for gas and they pull the rickshaw off. And
See, that's exactly one of those things where you took the time. Now you're losing more time because of something stupid like that.
Something that you can't control, which is always going to happen. Like when you're on The Amazing Race, you're bound to have a bad car, a bad taxi, a bad something like that's so out of your control. So you're right. Like, might as well run the race the way you've been running it.
Trains and automobiles, they were the great equalizers. It was out of your control.
Yes.
Absolutely, and it definitely takes place throughout this whole season. You could see where the different modes of transportation really either help somebody or hurt somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And this is they actually figure out that Team Guido can't leave or can't get there in time. This is Joe starts talking, goes, we're not leaving the monastery until 6:30 at night. We've made some flaws, but they're not fatal flaws. We could still win this game. You're 8 hours behind everybody, dude.
Hey, but it's a good mindset to have. Like, don't doubt yourself. Like, race hard.
Be
you know what I
optimistic.
mean? Like, I gotta I gotta give it to them. Like, they never counted themselves out, because you never know. And granted, it is the first season, so you don't really know. Like, you don't, like, in the first season, you didn't know, like, so much twists and turns, all that kind of stuff. But, like, I applaud them for still running the race as if they were all with everyone.
That's some supreme confidence in your skills, bro. I mean,
have they ever lacked confidence this whole time? Like, seriously?
Not at all.
Not
right.
at all.
So are we surprised? No.
After they showed that little snippet, they weren't seen again until I think it was the 44th or 45th minute of
that's so funny
of the show, the episode.
Look
They were
at
just
you.
they weren't even there. See that?
Joey contributing.
Look at here.
Contributing with some stats.
I'm wondering if they even knew they were that far behind.
Yeah. Wow.
8 hours.
8 hours.
that's
Not
that's-
even know that.
Imagine
that's
the
the whole
stress.
leg behind.
Imagine the stress when you know everyone left 8 hours ago and your kid do nothing but sit there.
Yeah.
That's like
You're just like this while everybody's taking off
Yeah.
the starting line.
Bye.
Oh my god, yeah. I'd be sleeping as long as I can.
You're like Forrest Gump on the boat. It's like, hi everyone.
So Frank and Margarita they're chilling. They're in a good mood. They get to the boat. The guy says 30 baht, and he tries to haggle to 20 baht. Now, 30 baht is 90 cents, people. He's trying to go from 90 cents to 60 cents. Like, come on,
back
dude.
From the 90.
Back then, 20 years ago, it was probably like 30 cents. Like, really? Like,
Yeah. Something
honestly,
must have happened.
Come on.
See, he wasn't like that at the beginning. So either something must have happened or the racers must have talked to another team where they were really low on money. I think because that kind of scared the shit out of him. Because ever since he got laid, he's starting to count, pennies all of a sudden.
But he's thinking about the future. He's thinking about a family. He's like, I got to save my money. We got kids on the.
But then they go shopping.
Yeah.
20 baht versus 30 baht? Really?
Yeah.
Give them 100. It won't break down.
Sorry, Pat, what'd you say?
I said, give them 100 and it won't break down.
I think that Frank just also kind of like enjoyed that part of the race too, like to see what he could get. You know what
Some
I mean?
people
Like
do
see
love
how
that.
far. Yeah, like people kind of thrive. I know whenever I travel, like race outside of race stuff, I love bargaining with people at markets and like see what I can get for it. Even if I'm going to pay the original price, I just like doing it. So I get it. But on the race, it's like, dude, you just gotta go. Like 20 baht, 30 baht.
I'm not arguing over 30 cents if it's saves me 2 seconds. Even if it saves me 2 seconds to not say it, I'm taking those 2 seconds. It's not worth it.
Yes. Even if you know Team Guido is 8 hours behind you or whatever.
Well, I'm racing for first. I never think about last. I always think about first. That's my mindset.
Yeah.
If I'm close to first, I'm not going to be last. So let's race for first.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I got to be honest. I like seeing them sweat a little.
Yeah.
Like Joe, Bill wasn't bad, but Joe was like the whole time. He was like, his eyes are getting a little bigger. And
they should be nervous.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so they start flirting on the boat again. Obviously, that I don't even have to wonder about it anymore. I was absolutely right and pinpointed the moment that they had sex because it's just gotten better since. Rob and Brennan arrive at the beach. It was 11:40 a.m. So it took them about 90 minutes from the starting area to get to this location. And this is the detour. You got to hike or you got to climb. I mean, I don't even think this is a choice for anybody. I mean, Pat, hike or climb?
Climb.
I mean, who's gonna pick hike? I don't care.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, the oldest contestants on the race were the Guidos the oldest at the time because he was 15.
No, Margarita and not Margarita.
Yeah, they were out.
Frank and Margarita.
No, not on the race. We had a set of grandparents. On the race.
They were out.
The other Margarita. Yeah. Got
right in the beginning. Yeah.
Right. My bad.
They were the oldest, and I think Nancy was even the second oldest, and then it was Brenda and I.
Okay, it was Dave and Margarita. Gotcha.
Dave and Margarita.
I think they still would have climbed.
I do too.
I think they would have picked climb. I don't think anybody would go up the stairs. Like, that's not even an option. Stop it.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Come on. But
no.
I mean, it's the first season. Again, I got to give them breaks. But I do got to call that.
But unless they have to, because there's only like 2 climbers at a time or whatever I don't know, like if there's a backlog, you better believe I'm going to go hike. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to sit there and wait.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, if you get on a single path behind somebody, that would suck.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So it doesn't seem like it's too difficult for Robin Brennan. They do get hurt a little bit. Cuts his finger. Says he might have broken a knuckle. Doesn't look like a broken knuckle to me. I'm not a doctor, but I mean, when you break something, it immediately turns to a purpley area, right? Little. Who looks better in a skimmer?
I
call it a skimmer?
Skimmers. Yeah, I call it skimmers.
Skimmers. I never heard it called that. I've heard like, you know, Jeff caps, taxi caps,
no,
boy hats.
Yours looks like it's from the 30s.
Mine is like this is actually I got married.
It's huge.
I got married in this.
You really?
Yeah, this is like I don't know. What is that? It's not. What is that? Not witch.
Tweed. Tweed? Is it tweed?
Twill?
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like hickory. Who cares? Nobody cares, Justin. Shut the fuck up. All right. So Robin Brennan find out the auto rickshaw, which is a moped with a sidecar. Okay, it overheated the light, get glass. Margarita, Robin Brennan at the beach, the detour. Okay, Robin Brennan choose climb, and Frank and Margarita show up as Robin Brennan are finishing this off here. I mean, there's really no options. You go up, you rappel the mountain straight up. I mean, you climb up and you rappel down, or you walk up and you walk down. Nobody's taking walk up, walk down, especially at this point in the leg. Maybe in the first couple legs somebody would have, but no way at this point in the leg should anybody ever walk.
Right.
I don't care how injured you are, you better struggle to get up that. Robin Brennan really don't have any problems with that. A couple other teams we're going to kind of go back and forth because the way this leg was set up, it's like 2 separate races almost. So I'm going to kind of describe the Robin Brennan and go back and blah, blah, blah. But Frank and Margarita right there. The next clue tells them they need to take a hike through the jungle, and that's when they rappel down into a boat that's taking them back to the boat launch. And once they're back there, they have to head to sea, land, and trek in the which is about an hour away. Closes at 5 p.m., which is going to be a crucial point coming up soon. Robin Brennan pull away from their boat, and that's just as Frank and Margarita get there. So, I mean, they're neck and neck. They're literally right at the start going at it. Robin Brennan get there 1:47, so we see how long this leg is going to take. Started at 10. And it's almost 2 o'clock already, and this is when they bump into the roadblock. One team member must paddle the kayak while the other one just sits there, pretty much with the bags. Who's doing this one? Who's doing this one, Pat? You or Brenda?
Well, Frank's paddling.
You're paddling?
Frank. Oh, me? I would have been paddling. No. Actually, on this, Brenda would have been paddling. She's a pretty good kayaker.
Joe?
What? Fuck, who cares?
I don't know if you had kayaking skills.
I mean, I do have a little bit of skills. I was a guy for a whitewater rafting company up in Maine for a couple summers.
Okay, so you know how to hold yourself in balance on the boat.
Yeah.
Maya, different than
Amy would have done it because like we were pretty strategic on how we did the legs and like who did what. And this one, she hurt her leg even before we started racing. So for her to do one where she just has to sit, it was like a bonus. So she would have probably done it.
Makes sense. Yeah, I would. I mean, even
I did take kayaking lessons before we went on the race, though, just in case.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, I had a guy teach me how to. Really? He taught me how to roll and right myself back up, just in case I wanted to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, we needed it. I went whitewater rafting down the Zambezi River. I needed it.
What? Wow.
Right.
That's so cool. Oh, man. That was so smart for somebody going into their first season to do that. But definitely, I can't wait to get into the questions at the end. I got so many questions for you.
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. Pat, did you both know how to drive a stick back then?
I did. I'm pretty sure Brenda did. Yeah, Brenda knew how to drive a stick. Cool. She had Volkswagens most of her life. So
that seems to be the biggest thing. I don't know why you'd ever go on the Amazing Race and not know how.
Yeah, I mean, 20 years ago, people still had some.
I can drive anything.
Right? Yeah.
I bet you can, Patty King.
Drive a semi truck if I had to.
Oh my gosh.
So that's great.
Joey.
So Brennan is rowing, and after a few minutes paddling, they see the cave. Nothing really too interesting to talk about. Not much. I mean, it's beautiful. It's like serene. They got the they get the snorkel gear. They jump back in. Really, not much to talk about there. Then when they get in the boat, they got to head to Chicken Island, which is about a mile around. So we just kind of got to go around until you see the little flag. It's not as difficult of a task. And then you just got to jump in the water, which it didn't seem like it was that deep to get the clue. So I don't know what the point of this was besides, I guess, travel porn. besides travel porn, because I mean these tasks weren't that difficult to me. The clue tells him, hey, go to the pit stop at the Penang beach, and then the bad luck continues for Rob and Brennan as their boat engine stalls.
Literally.
I'm like, this is great.
Oh my God.
Everything that could possibly go wrong is going wrong, but they still managed to win the damn leg. That's how crazy it is when you have a lead like that you can have like three really bad things happen to you in the same leg that usually gets teams eliminated, any one of them. Right. And they had all three of them and was still managed. So
that lead is everything.
And good luck. Fortune.
I don't know. We came in first in one episode and came in last in the other one.
Yeah, but you guys had one mistake, correct? It was only one thing you did. You went to the wrong place or something, right?
Well, kind of. The clue was to go find the pendulum. And Foucault's pendulum. So we found Foucault's pendulum. We found the real Foucault's pendulum on the other side of Paris in an engineering museum. I'm a mechanical engineer. I know where the hell Foucault's pendulum is. But they didn't say that I needed to find a replica of Foucault's pendulum, and that was downtown. So we made this a lot more harder than it should have been.
You were too smart for your own good. Like everybody else is so dumb. They didn't even know what it was. You just got sent to the right place. You know what it is.
We're on the other side of Paris. It was crazy. In this engineering museum. And outside there's this big globe with a pendulum swinging over the globe of the world. So we had to be in the right place.
I could see how you could think that, but dang, that's so bad.
But we crossed town, got to the right Foucault pendulum, got the clue from the cat, and went through the sewers of Paris and caught up with everybody at the train station. So we did pretty good for being on the other side of Paris.
Very good for being on the other side of Paris. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And Paris sucks to travel. We were there for our episodes for our season, and it sucked to travel. It sucked to get a taxi. It sucked to get around. I did not enjoy traveling in Paris at all. So good on you for getting across town that fast.
You guys go on the underground.
I guess so. We didn't go in the underground.
The underground will shoot you right out.
So the teams are informed that they have to return the kayak and that's not and paddle back. Okay, not a big deal. Rob and Brennan, they get to Chicken Island at 5:30 p.m. So for them, the leg was 7.5 hours just to finish the leg. What do you think about the way the leg was set up?
There was no real task. There was nothing.
Climbing.
There was. I mean, that. But there was no mental strenuous. There was not. It was literally climb, boat, have someone take you back, rappel down, have someone take you to get a kayak. Sit in a motorcycle type thing, and get driven places. So it just wasn't really you didn't have to beat a certain time. It would be different if they said climb and beat a certain time, but there was nothing about that. You know what I mean? So it was almost a kind of relaxing leg because of the space because of the spacing from the leg before. And so outside of it being absolutely beautiful, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, it was no chance for another team to pass another team, really. There was nothing. There was no opportunities for that, which sucks.
I think maybe the next season they came up with roadblocks or something like that, where you could do something like that, where you could penalize another team member and hold them back. That came up the next season.
Oh, the U-turn?
Yes.
Yes.
U-turn. Because we didn't have that.
Right.
That was the second season.
Yeah, I mean, they were still obviously first season, still experimenting, fast forwards every leg, and that's just
maybe that lull in that leg made them think they need to do a little bit more.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens when it all pans out. Joey hasn't seen the season, so he does not know who wins yet. All right. So here let's cut back to the other crew as Robin Brennan, finished the leg. Not a problem really for them, and then behind them is Frank and Margarita. Frank and Margarita about 13 minutes behind them.
The master,
they made it seem like it was a lot closer,
right?
But
no one can hear you.
they make it seem like it was a lot closer, but 12 minutes is still pretty close, especially from first and second. So let's catch up with the second group of people. The second group of people. Before that, Margarita says, I think the race offers a lot of opportunity for individuals to push yourselves to the limits and do things you've never done before. And I think at this point in the leg that her and Frank are really into their groove. They're really feeling each other. And I think it's a good time for them to really be catching their groove. Even they finish second, they're super happy about it. They're really boisterous. And this is like... a good opportunity for them. And then you cut to the other teams where the Guidos are going up against the frat boys, and the Guidos check in. The first two teams finished the leg already, and then the Guidos take off. I hate you, Joey.
Right.
And then the Guidos take off. And they wind up camping out on beach, which I think is a really smart move for them. They leave at 6:31. They get there an hour and a half later, just like the other team. So time of day really didn't matter for travel there. All right, Joe and Bill have to find the king. They decide to spend the night. They actually spend $13 American, which I think is super smart at this point in the race to get that extra oomph, that freshness, that real sleep that can really help you push to the end. Especially in their situation, they need every advantage they can get because they're so far behind. So I think they were going to sleep on the beach, but they decided to get the room, and it was $13. I mean, come on,
get a room.
Yeah, right. Get a room, you two. I bet you they had a lot of fun too. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. And I hate you. I'm not answering anymore. These are not even looking. Kevin and Drew find two envelopes in a trash can, so they pretty much know where they are in the race. They know there's one team still behind them. And Drew says the kayak closed at 6 p.m. So now it turns out that we're like 15 to 17 hours behind the leaders. They just lost an additional 8 to 9 hours for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Oof. What are you gonna do at this point? There's nothing they can do. Sleep, but bicker. All they did from this point on was just argue with each other.
They were awesome in the motorcycle with the sidecar. They're bantering back and forth. It was gold. It was absolutely gold when they were going back how fat each one was.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, you're like 1% short of 250. Yeah,
right.
You're like a bagel and cream cheese short of 200. Like, what are you talking about, you numbnuts? So Kevin and Drew, they bicker about everything. They bicker about what's going on in the kayak. They bicker about who's going to be where, what's going to happen. Then they struggle just to get the kayak in the river. They can't steer, slamming it to the side of the river. And then Drew jumps into the water and he claims that something bit him. Something bit me. It's called coral, you idiot. That's why you don't stand on it. You're supposed to float above it. But the boat driver said there are many sea urchins there. But if it was a sea urchin, you would have heard a lot more piercing.
Yeah.
Because those things, no joke, they got barbs. And they ain't coming out easy.
Yeah.
Ouchie.
You would have known that one.
Yeah. He would have been a lot more than swing you fat bastard. He would have been a lot louder than that. All right, so Joe and Bill work together, really awesome, making it up the hill, making it up the. We're on the kayak. Sorry, they work together, really awesome. This whole leg, I think, and they make it to the top. They don't of the mountain. They get up there. They seem to have the most difficulty out of any teams, but they get up there. They get down, no problem. Joe and Bill tried to haggle with the boat driver to get a cheaper price to Chicken Island as well. And I like their tactic of, are there any other boats out here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here's your money.
That was good.
So Drew says, basically, we need to come in top 3. We want really. We want to be in the final leg, and if we make it to the final leg, the whole damn book is written because it's over. Oh yeah. And then that's a cuts to Joe. We're bound and determined to come in number 3 the next leg and number 1 in the leg after that. Well, didn't quite happen that way, as 17 and a half hours after the first team checked in.
That's crazy.
Kevin and Drew check in, and then 2 hours after them, Joe and Bill check in. So it wasn't even close, not even... I mean, come on. And then it cuts to, the leg is saved. They're saved because it's a non-elimination leg. Good for them. Next week, they show Rob and Brennan missing a flight. Frank and Margarita are bickering again. There's a showdown with the Guidos and the frat boys doing some eating tasks. The drama is built. Who's going to make it to the final 3? We'll find out next week.
This is big.
Dun, dun, dun.
I had to try to hype it up. I was like, all right. So let's give out some awards. Who's getting that sweet move there, Amy? What do we got?
So the sweetest move was... Yeah, the sweetest move wasn't actually like a race involved move at all, because there were no real moves done this whole entire episode. But the sweetest move I thought was when Frank and Margarita were on the boat. I think they were getting taken to the rock climbing in the very beginning of all the boat rides. Mm-hmm. And Margarita is like laying in between like Frank's legs on his lap, and they're just like looking out like at the beautiful scenery. Like, it was just a really sweet moment. And I too thought at that time they were really just meshing really well. They were really gelling. Like, they were on a groove, and you could tell that they were really, feeling each other and just enjoying this. So
they were really feeling on each other.
That was the sweetest move, because it was really sweet. Like,
I get it. Yeah,
they weren't getting mad at each other this leg, really. Like, it was just a really good leg for them. So
the holy shitballs moment, Joe.
Well, again, like Maya said, there wasn't a lot to go on, but one of the things I did notice in this leg was Kevin and Drew, when they checked that barrel, that showed that they're into this now. They're really, you'd expect something like that out of the Guidos. And when I saw them do it, I was like, all right, these guys are into it now. So, like I said, never seen it, but I'm really hoping for the best for these two. And I figured, because they had 8 hours, I thought maybe they were going to do a little more. Maybe they were going to try to figure out, like other people did. Oh, they went over there, and how many people were here before? Like, oh, the ball guys were just here. Find some more clues and see what's going on. That was really the moment where I was like, all right, there's something going on with these guys. They're pulling it together. Even though they're funny as fuck, they're still pulling it together.
They're great comedy.
Yeah, great guys.
And they're going to get my superfan move, because there was one move that the superfans who watch pick up. So while they're in the taxi, when Kevin and Drew figure out that the king is not an actual person, it's a task, it's a mountain, and they knew that because they picked up a travel guide and they both did their research, because one was talking about it and the other one already knew what it was. So they both were doing their research, and I think that's huge in season 1. Get the travel guide, study the travel guide. Sure. What's big in the area? What would the producers like go to look at? Like they're gonna look at popular things. So go to the popular places. It's so smart. It's such a smart thing to do. And it's only superfans would even pick up on the fact that they were looking through a travel book and they figured out the clue. Nobody else did until they got there, or without asking somebody. So I think
but they also had a lot of time to do it too.
That's true. Yeah.
They had a lot of time to kill. Agree. No, totally agree.
When
they
you
had
have
a lot
your
of time
to
to
use
kill.
it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So let's get to the good stuff. Pat, how the hell did you find out about the race? This is season 1. Were you trying to be an actress, or did you find it in SAG? How did you find out about the race?
Well, my partner Brenda was a real big fan of Survivor, and she kept telling me she was going to go do Survivor, and I was like, whoa, you can't go off without me, because all our adventures had always been together, whether it was like backpacking for 10 days in the mountains or jumping a plane to go to the islands and just hang out. All our adventures had always been together. We had our first kids together. We did everything together.
That's
So
cool.
I didn't want her to run off on Survivor without me. So she watched Survivor nonstop, and she was always online. And they came out with this new reality TV show advertisement on Survivor website, and it said teams of 2. So she jumped on that. She called me. She said, "You want to do it?" And I said, "Yeah." So we downloaded the application. It was like 3 pages long.
So they had the Amazing Race application on the Survivor website. What was the name of the show? Do you remember what they called it?
They had no name for the show.
They didn't even have it.
They were still trying to figure out the name for the show when we were leaving.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So I remember being in lockdown in the hotel in California, and they were still throwing like 3 and 4 different names for the show out, and they were even asking us if we had any suggestions.
Wow.
That's wild.
What was casting process like for you guys? Like
casting for us, we went into Philly. Well, it was funny. They called me on the phone and they said that they would like me to come in for an interview. And that was the same day I was leaving for a trip for Mexico. And they were like, "Well, if you don't want to do it, we understand." I said, "Whoa, wait a minute."
Wow.
I'll reschedule my flight.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that turned out to be a crazy thing all in itself, because I rescheduled my flight for after the interview. They got us in first thing in the morning. We were the second team interviewed in Philly that morning, and then I went right to Philly airport, but my flight was delayed, so we ended up on this ship on the Delaware River that was a restaurant, but it wasn't open, but they would serve us lunch anyway. And so we were the only 2 people on this boat restaurant. And then I caught a plane to Mexico, and I ended up getting to Mexico really late at night. The taxi cab didn't know where this spa was. So we're running around the mountains of Mexico. He couldn't speak any English. I couldn't speak any Spanish. I just kept telling myself the whole time, I'm in training for the race. Because he ended up dropping me off in the middle of the mountain in the middle of the night, because he wanted to take me back to Guadalajara, and I said no. And I told him to drop me off. I told him to drop me off by this river, because it was the Rio Caliente, was a hot river. I knew it was the right river, but I didn't think about the river could run for hundreds of miles. But I talked him into drop me off. I gave him $20. He gave me my suitcases. I got out and I started walking. I found the place. But the whole time I just kept saying, I'm in training, because I just interviewed that morning for the race. So I just figured this was all just part of it.
What did they ask? Like, there was no name. So they said, are you interested in racing around the world for $1 million? Is that what they just said? Like,
well, no, they didn't even go that far. It was more like a reality TV show that involved a lot of. In the interview, they asked me how I would feel about being in a strange place, not knowing the language, and not having any money. And I looked at the lady and said, "Shit, I do that every day." And they fell out laughing. And when they started laughing in the interview, I said, "Brenda, we got this." So we walked out. I said, "Brenda, we're in." She kept saying, "How do you know?" I said, "Brenda, we are in." And they called us the following week, and we were in.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's great.
And then Pat, how long? So when you interviewed and got the call that said that you guys are going to go on, how long between when you actually left for the race? Like a couple of months or?
Wow. So it was my birthday when we interviewed. So that was January. And they told us we had to be ready to leave at any moment. We would get a call and we have to go.
Wow. So
I wanted to go skiing in Steamboat that week. So I packed all the stuff for the race that I would need in a backpack. I took my ski stuff in one bag and the Amazing Race stuff in another bag. Well, they didn't call me that week, but I had both bags. The moment I got back from Steamboat, they called. They called.
Right,
and they
but
said,
how long? Like, was it a month or something, or a couple of months? Or how long did you guys have?
January, February. It had to be at least a month before they said, till we actually left for the race.
Yeah.
I'd say it was 2.5 months.
Okay.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, you got some time to work
Yeah,
out, get
some time to do some stuff. Yeah.
Or, speaking of getting in shape, working
Kayak.
out, you did kayaking. What else did you do?
That was pretty much it for me. I wanted to know how to kayak.
Did they tell you what to pack?
I can drive anything.
Did they tell you what to pack?
I was a little afraid they were going to make me jump out of an airplane or a cliff, and of course they did. Brenda had no fear of that because she had jumped out of airplanes before. I'm not really thrilled. So Brenda jumped off the cliff so fast because they said we had to stay together. You always have to be together. So she jumped off that cliff so fast. So I didn't have a chance to think about it. I had to go off that cliff because she was at the bottom. When you talk about the climbing the king, whether you climb or jump, I climb. Go down is a little bit different, but I did it. You know how you put your toes right on the edge, and they always tell you don't look down. Well, this time you put your toes right on the edge, and they say look down. I was like, oh my goodness. And now they said, now step off.
Step off, woman. All right. So Eric Ridley wants to know, what was walking through the sewers in Paris like?
That was pretty nasty. It was dark. It was wet. It was stinky. There was things down there I wouldn't even want to repeat were down there, but it was real. It wasn't like it was made up a path. You went. And the reason I did that was because I had confinement training. So I knew I could suit up into those boots and into that white suit because we had to get dressed.
Training? Oh,
yeah.
What were you, like some CIA agent? Like, how would you get confinement training? Tell us about your secret past.
Out of a tank and clean it out or something like that. Plus, I'm also hazmat, so I can also clean up spills and things like that. So I knew how to jump into the suit, the boots, the glove, and all that stuff that was necessary to go through the sewer really quick because I've done the dress before.
Huh.
Oh wow, cool.
That is pretty awesome. Question in chat: who did the unaired roadblock? Who did the unaired roadblock in Zambia?
Oh, where we had in Zambia. I think we had to eat eggs.
Yeah,
I had to cook them. I did that. I had to cook these huge ostrich eggs, and then I had to eat them. And I don't like eggs, but I knew I could cook it faster than she could cook it because I'm always the fire meister when we go backpacking or camping or anything. So I knew I could cook it. I can eat anything if I have to.
An ostrich egg is like a dozen eggs. How was that?
Well, but mine was cooked. So I ate all 12 eggs before I could move on. Oof. Now, a lot of the teams that came in behind us, because they were all jammed up real close, they weren't cooking theirs entirely, and they were trying to eat them somewhat runny and raw. I saw a couple people bring it back up, so to speak.
Really?
Yeah, they tried to be too fast.
They should have aired that. That sounds yummy.
They should have aired that.
It's got to be on the DVD. Or was it a VHS tape back then? They got to have that on beta.
The Betamax. That's so great.
I think it was actually because our interview tape was a beta tape.
Was it beta? That's. Tim Gross wants to know: do you keep in touch with anybody from the race anymore?
Yeah, we all keep in touch as much as we can. I mean, social media helps a lot. But I hit up Karen and Lenny and Brent. We talk.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh. Yeah, that's great.
You talk with anybody from any other seasons, or it's pretty much like the season one kind of crew?
Pretty much the season one crew for me. I'm a little bit of a recluse.
That's okay. We got you. We got you now. After 20 years, we're pulling you out of the recluse.
I have a question. What's with the clocks? Looks like you got some, were they bird houses or bird clocks or something?
I got a couple bird houses back there. They don't have any birds. They just kind of hang.
I was going to say, usually those go outside, Pat.
I think I painted that one, and one's a VW bus somebody gave me because I had a 79 VW bus camping van, so somebody gave me a birdhouse to look like it.
That wasn't a camping van. Cool. That was a slam van. Be honest.
Shagging wagon.
Shag wagon. Stabbing, dabbing. She's not denying it. She's not denying it.
Hell no. And I drive a Harley.
You drive it right in the back of it.
The game show host Bradley Clark is in our chat room, and he wants to know, Pat, you mentioned despite going to the wrong pendulum that you and Brenda did catch up with the other teams at the sewer roadblock. So did you miss the train at LeBeau that the other teams were on? Question mark. How'd you fall behind?
So, we caught up with everybody at the train station, and when we asked for our ticket, the conductor behind the ticket booth put us on a later train. And I asked him very nicely to put me on an earlier train, and he said to me, "Not possible." I said, "Oh, it's possible." He said, "Not possible," and he closed the train window on me and he wouldn't change my ticket. So we got on a later train. So we pretty much knew on the train ride going in that we were going to be pretty late.
I would have bet it was possible.
But he closed the train window on me and wouldn't talk to me.
So anybody else got questions in chat, feel free to throw them up in the chat room. Joey, if you guys have, just throw it in. Cut me off whenever you want. If not, what was the best thing to happen after the race? Because you guys got to do some like cool stuff because you were season 1. So tell us some of the stuff that you guys got to do because you were season 1.
Well, we got sequestered at the castle where we were booted out.
That's
and we spent
awesome.
we spent a day and a half there, and we got a private tour. We got to walk up on the where all the guys would stand with the bows and arrows and look out, and there was catapults out there that were like from before Christ. And then they took us on a tour of the castle, and there was a cathedral up in where it was closed off to the general public, but the guy that was with production knew somebody, so we got this really wonderful tour of the castle and the church and the tomb and the graveyard. And then we had to take the fast train back to Paris the next day. And we were sequestered in Paris, right next to the Hilton for the remainder of the race. But we were allowed, not a bad place to get sequestered.
Not bad at all.
I loved it.
Did you do any talk shows or anything afterwards, or like interviews with magazines or TV stations and stuff?
We did Roseanne. We did a couple that day. It was like a world war. It was a tour where they picked us up at Grand Central. They drove us in, and then we did a talk show, and then we did a radio where they satellited us. They had like a satellite radio where they would beam us all across. It made us look like we were live in places, but we weren't. So it was cool to see how all that works too. And Rosie O'Donnell gave us a trip to Las Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah, that was nice.
Okay,
that was very nice.
Did you all ever like get contacts to go back on or anything like that on future races, or would you all have gone back on?
Oh heck yeah. I'd go in a second. Wouldn't you?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do over. Yes. I said if I get to go again, I'm only taking the clothes that I'm wearing and maybe a couple of changes of underwear, my toothbrush in my pocket. I am not taking a backpack. I don't need it. I could do it with one set of clothes.
Have you watched all the seasons after? Are you a super fan? Like Justin?
I can't say I'm a super fan. I do check in on every season to see who's running, where they're going. I can't say I watch every episode, but I'm looking forward to the new one.
If you could go back, but you couldn't take Brenda you had to take a previous contestant, who would you take?
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's a tough question.
It's only tough because you haven't seen my season.
It's easy.
Justin.
Who is it better, Pat? Come on.
There's only one person here who actually won. So
yeah. Okay, if you had to take,
I'm just Sorry, Justin.
got a
Sorry,
point.
Joey.
I love it. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, Maya, let's do it.
I figured she'd take you, Maya.
Yeah, she's already has a great life. Why don't she win the Amazing Race as well? She's already got like she's Willy Wonka in real life, and then she also wins the race. Come on, and she's always freaking happy. I've never seen her like without a smile on her face. No social media.
I'm always happy.
Not even on the Amazing Race. Would it get you at your worst?
I told you, Amy and I did argue on the race. They just didn't show it, and we called Matt. We called Matt the next day after it aired, and we were like, Matt, why didn't you show us arguing? People are gonna think that like we're like so nice. And he's like, you guys are nice. Like that's how you raced. And I was like, oh, you're right. We are nice.
You were the original Team Fun before Team Fun. And so,
basically, yeah.
You guys,
there's so much they cut out that they could have used on us. Like when I got my head caught in the turnbuckle in Paris, trying to, you know how you have to go through those turny things. Well,
my
head got caught. I couldn't get out.
The turnstile? Your head got caught in a turnstile?
Yeah.
How the hell did your head get in there?
I'm not sure, but I could not get out of there to save my life.
I didn't even get in there.
Put that on film.
Holy shit. Yeah, how did you get in there? How did
you get in
there? I was going through it to get on the subway, and I got stuck on my backpack, and my head got caught.
Pat,
and then when Brenda and I used to argue because Brenda refused to wear her glasses. So we'd get the map and we're trying to read the map. So she kept trying to hold the map far away so she could see it. And I kept pulling the map in so I could see it. And so the map was going in and out, in and out. Nobody could see the map because Brenda couldn't see it close. She kept pushing it out far and I couldn't see it out far. It was hysterical. But they didn't catch any of that.
Had you traveled a lot before the race, or
yes? Not a lot, but I mean, I traveled out of the country a couple times and to the islands a few times. I knew how to travel, but trains were a little bit different. I wasn't as familiar with trains.
Yeah.
So the train got us.
That's so funny.
Was there any tasks or locations that you wish you could have gotten to do in season 1 that you didn't get a chance to do?
When they went to Taiwan, I think it was Taiwan, right?
Thailand.
That's what I meant. Thailand. When they went to Thailand, I was like, oh, damn, I wanted to go. I always wanted to go to Vietnam, too. I think they did that on another season.
Yeah, but, save your money.
There was a big controversy, actually, that episode, because they showed that plane that was shot down.
Right. Yeah.
It was a big controversy. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else got some questions? Throw them in there. Pat, you're awesome. I really appreciate you coming on. What else you got for us? Is there any other stories you want to share with us, or anything you want to let people know about Pat? What Pat's been up to for the past 20 years? Or you could just stay reclusive and go back to your reclusion and
birdhouses.
I'm getting ready to retire, so I'm going to buy a big truck and an RV and start traveling in the United States.
Wow,
that's my next adventure.
Good for you.
Well, my daughter's already doing it. I don't know where she gets it from, but she quit her job 2 years ago, and she's already out on the road. So she's done the East Coast top to bottom. Now she's kind of doing like cross sections of the United States. Right now she's out in Colorado, but yeah. So she was 14 when I left, or she turned 14 while I was gone. I missed her birthday. It's okay.
She must have.
So my goal was 12. So I mean, I think it had a big influence on them because, like I said, Caitlin, she joined corporate America for a couple of years and just said nope, and sold everything, bought an RV and a truck, and hit the road. My son is out in Oregon as a chef, so I think it did have an influence on my kids as far as watching me run off and do these things. They want to do them too now.
That's awesome.
We always thought it'd be fun for our kids, Avalon and Caitlin, our oldest children, to like if the Amazing Race would have did the kids of first season.
That would have been cool. Yeah,
that's a great idea. Like kids
have your kids ever thought about trying out, or have they tried out, or?
They haven't tried out, but I think they would. I think she would. Yes.
I think that's a great idea. I think they should try.
That's a cool idea.
But I just thought Brenda's daughter and my daughter should do it together. You know.
No, that's a great idea, and I think that's something that producers will pick up on, because they like bringing back old stuff, but they don't. It's like weird. It's a good bring back, and it's a good idea. Like the siblings, it'll spark an idea that could be a whole season of like.
Could be a whole season.
Yeah, siblings or kids of past racers, and I think that could be really.
Because now that it's been 20 years, racers' kids are grown up.
You all have kids old enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. All right, Pat, I think that's going to do it. You were freaking awesome. Loved having you on. I really appreciate you breaking your 20 years of silence for the Racers Recap.
Coming out of recluse.
Someone asked, Bradley asked, though, before you go, Bradley asked, do you wish you and Brenda hadn't used your fast forward so early in the race?
Oh, no. That was good.
I agree.
We got to the whitewater raft place before the sun came up. We were waiting for them to put the boats in, so we would have even gotten there quicker. That fast forward was awesome, going down the Zambezi River and getting a helicopter ride out of the gorge, because they couldn't get the Jeep back down to pick us up where we got out of the kayak. It was all muddy, so they had to helicopter us out of the gorge. And since he was only one of 2 licensed pilots that is allowed to fly that gorge, he gave us a little tour of the gorge, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes.
That's awesome.
So yeah, no, I don't regret using my fast forward at all. That was an adventure of a lifetime, going down the Zambezi River.
That's awesome.
We got to go to the Zambezi River during our season, and it was our favorite part of the race. Absolutely incredible. And
your season mimics season 1 a lot.
A lot, yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of throwbacks.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like
too.
Almost kind of like a setup. Almost like you didn't. Almost like you didn't have to do it. Yeah, thanks.
Guys, thanks for having me. I had a great time.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
A lot of fun.
You're awesome. And
guys, I gotta go with you
later. Everybody watching, I know time is the most valuable thing that you have, and for you to spend any of it here with us means a lot. So thank you so very much. I hope we entertained you. Hope we gave you a smile. We'll be here next week with another riveting guest. Let's see, who do we got next week? One of Joey's girlfriends that canceled last time, Amy, will be joining us next week. So you don't want to miss that as Joey goes into big flirtation mode. It's going to be awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. Check you guys out later. Don't miss Ice Cream Sunday with Maya.